smoking the Captain Pete, a Peterson product made in the Republic of Ireland in XL 155 shape. I keep this on the boat. It just seems appropriate somehow. So yes, I am on the boat, and I have spent a lot of time on the boat. It was like a week and a half on the tribal canoe journey as a support boat, and then it's always fun, and it motivates me to get the boat in shape, you know. And then a week up in Port Townsend, hauled out, which was way overdue. Way over. I was going to haul out just before COVID, and then COVID hit, and it was just like places were closed. You couldn't do anything. So I had the bottom scrubbed by a diver a couple of times in the meantime, but it was out of control. So totally necessary. Smoking some Balkan Supreme. You know, boats, boatyards. And Port Townsend, Washington is a kind of a crazy place because it's sort of the epicenter of wooden boats on the West Coast. So the kind of people that are into wooden boats, it is quite a community. So yeah, spending a week up there. And this is a traditional looking boat. It's not a wood boat, though. I mean, people recognize it for what it is, which is a plastic boat. It's not fiberglass, it's plastic. Only wood is real. But I'll tell you, there were some wood boats sitting in that boatyard that had been there since I was a boy, or so it seemed. And just the rot and the rust and the planks sprung out. Give me a fiberglass boat any day. I mean, yes, they have character, but I just don't. It doesn't give me the tingle. Presume it does them. So break a leg. But yeah, what you do is you go in, you get hauled out. I have some pictures I'll put at the end. On a travel lift, and you get carried over to a spot that they've tarped, and they set you down on blocks and stuff, and then boat stands. And then you just go to town, you know. So my prop, also during COVID, I was not as diligent about keeping the zinc on the prop fresh, shall we say. And so the prop got eaten away by electrolysis a little bit. So it was time to replace that. It's such an interesting thing. A boatyard like that, you know, every boat has a propeller. If it has an outboard, it has a propeller. And yet, there are some specialists in the boatyard who deal with propellers, but they're rare. They're hard to find. There, you'd think there'd be a propeller dealer. And then the two nuts, the bronze nuts that hold the propeller onto it's a bronze propeller onto the stainless steel shaft. You know, the shafts come in different sizes, but those nuts are unobtainium. I mean, you just can't find them. There's this place up there called Admiral Ship Supply, and it's quite an amazing place. They cater to the big fishing boats that get hauled out and all the wood boat people, and so it's quite a chandlery. So I went in and I showed them my little 1-inch bronze prop nuts that were a little getting rounded, you know. I assume they're the original ones on the boat from '83. And the guy, typical Port Townsend attitude, looks at him and says, "Nope, nope, we don't sell those. Not sorry, we don't sell those. Why don't you try this place?" Nope. And so it was just like, well, so what do you do? Well, he didn't know. You know, and yet all these boats have these two nuts that hold their propellers on. So I found that crazy. Anyway, there was a used marine store there. The guy was real nice. He had kind of a wry sense of humor, kind of ironic sense of humor. And he had a propeller that was, mine is a 16-inch by 10 pitch on a 1-inch shaft. All those parameters vary. So it's hard to find what you're looking for because of those three parameters. And mine's a two-blade propeller, and it's a non-folding, it's just basic stuff. So, designed for a sailboat. So he said, well, let me look here. I've got a 16 by 11 1-inch shaft, and it looks like it's in good condition. It was like, whoa, I could deal with that. You know, the slight pitch difference I don't think would make a difference. So I looked on eBay, and new props are like, I don't know, $500-$600, and even used ones are $200. So I said, so what do you want for that? He said, give me $25. I was like, the deal is done. So I said, do you have any prop nuts? He said, no, those are rare as hen's teeth, strangely. He said, but wait a minute, I've got a 1-inch shaft over here with a 3-blade propeller from something else, a little 3-blade propeller. I'll show you the nuts from that. So for $10, I had really nuts in great shape and bronze nuts, and then a new to me prop. Wow, that was great. So, wonderful. So now, to get the old prop off, you can't just pound it because you're going to bend your prop shaft or damage something, you know. And they get really wedged on there. So you need a puller, a prop puller. Well, okay, fair enough. So I looked online and looked in my good old boat book, you know, restoring classic plastic boats. And nobody has a prop puller. And again, Admiral Ship Supply, nope. Nope, can't find it. Don't have them. No suggestions. So I talked to a couple of people, and there are some folks in town who seem to hoard prop pullers, and the propeller guy in particular. So I was given the number by the marine thrift guy. He was nice enough to do that. So I called the guy, left a message. In the meantime, you know, trying some different options. I tell you. So I thought, well, you know, it's kind of like a gear puller, a steering wheel puller thing should work, right? So I went to the local hardware store, which is quite comprehensive, because it's right next to the marina. And sure enough, they had a gear puller with 2 arms that for $55. And again, I looked online, and these used prop pullers designed for the purpose were like $200, $300, $400, you know. So it was like, oh, okay, grabbed that, took it back to the boat. In about 35 seconds, the prop was off. So that worked out great. And now I have a tool aboard. I have a prop puller. So, yay. But it's funny how cagey and tribal some of the wood boat community is. It's like, no, you've got a plastic boat. We're not going to help you. It's like, wow. So boats are kind of like people. They need maintenance. They need love and attention. Plastic boats somewhat less. But still, they sit out. They're outside 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. So, there's going to be wear and tear. It is amazing they last as well as they do. And the canvas, what they call canvas, the sail covers, the Dodger here, the fabric stuff. That fabric is amazing how it lasts. But my stuff is really tired. The boat canvas was on it, or the sail covers were on it when I bought the boat in 1999. And the Dodger I had made a couple years after that. And Dodgers are really expensive. So, I don't know. It's on its last legs, but I'm not quite sure what I'll do about that. I would love to make my own using this as a pattern. I watched some videos, and there was an English girl redoing the canvas on her sailboat, and she said in the middle of the video, "This is the hardest thing I've ever done." It was really funny. So, and then once I got put back in the water today, my autopilot stopped working. And it's just a wheel pilot. It's pretty simple, but it's old as well. It came with the boat. So one of the little wheels, its little hub, it's all in cast aluminum, made in England. It just broke off. So I think I can drill it and then through bolt it and hold that little wheel on and repair it and keep it going. The new version of this wheel pilot is a Raymarine. This is an Auto Helm 4000. The new version is a Raymarine Evo 100, which I don't know what the list price is, but the street price appears to be about $1,500. So it's worth a bolt and a drill to see if it'll fix it and keep it running. I have a second as a spare, but it has its own problems. So, yeah, maintaining this old stuff is kind of challenging. And I look around and like, oh yeah, that needs paint. Oh yeah. But it's amazing how well it holds up given the environmental conditions it has to suffer through. So, but like any person, you need to give it some attention from time to time. And it rewards you with being, I call it my little waterfront cabin with the ever-changing view. So I don't have to look at real estate listings and think about buying a little waterfront piece of property and paying taxes on it. You do have to pay mortgage. That currently here is about $300 a month, which has doubled in the last 10 years, certainly. So that's a consideration. Insurance isn't too much. I pay $280 a year, and that's for a pretty full coverage. The tags are like $50 a year. It's doable. It is. It's like a little tiny home on the water. So it's pretty cool. And you can just drop the hook in a bay and anchor out. I had to wait for the tide today after they dropped me in the water in Port Townsend. I tried going through the Port Townsend Canal, and it just was like the current was flowing so fast against me. So I backed out and dropped the anchor for a few hours and just waited for the tide to turn. So, but it's all just really a pleasant and fun experience. So, but not a single pipe smoker in that whole marina that I could see. So, other than me, and I was only there for a week. The guy next to me had been there for a month and would probably be there for another couple months with his plastic boat. And then some of those wood boats, wow. Like I say, they have been there for a while. But it's a good way to spend the summer, honestly. Outside, exploring, you know. I mean, it's pretty darn cool. So, so I'll do it as long as I can. Um, it keeps me active, I guess I'd say. And there will be some costs. I mean, like when this little Yanmar diesel, it's a 2GM, a little 13-horse diesel. Well, it was 13 horses in 1983 when it was installed in the boat. It's probably like 9 or 10 horses now. Kind of tired, sag-backed ponies. So when that needs replaced, you know, that'll probably be a $10,000 job. New sails when they're needed. They were pretty fresh when I bought the boat, and they've held up well. So, but when you have to replace those can be pretty expensive. So there's some costs potentially coming up, but overall, it sure has been a lot of fun. And the Captain Pete just feels right with it.